Hey, how's it going? It's Ollie here. So it's my birthday today. So I've been pretty busy. I didn't get time to actually shoot a really complicated, content-rich video today. But it's a Thursday. I always upload on a Thursday, and I'm a big believer in being super consistent in whatever you do. Even if it's just doing a little bit, having the mindset of being super consistent is really the answer to most of the success I've had over the past few years. So you're getting a video today, even if it's just a little bit of a rant. But I've got a topic that I've been meaning to share with you for a while, actually. And I thought today would be the perfect time because I don't really have anything else planned. And I've been getting a few questions about this recently. So the topic is, what is the probability of you becoming successful on Amazon? Now, we all know the statistics for businesses out there, right? We all know how many people try to start businesses and how many fail, right? We know there's so many numbers thrown out, like 1 in 5 businesses don't last the first year or something like that, or it's like 3% of businesses reach the 6-figure level. The numbers just seem so kind of sad. And in with the same discussion comes the talk of competition, right? While the chances of you not succeeding are really high, or the chances of you failing are really high, the levels of competition are also really high. So these are two areas that actually scare a lot of new sellers away from starting and building their business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I actually learned a lesson from one of my coaches in a completely different field on this topic. Now, I have coaches for, all different things. I have a coach for business, right? I'm in a mastermind I joined recently in the UK. Before that, I was in a mastermind that was based in America and Australia. I've had all different mentors for business over the years. I've got also a mentor for music, someone who teaches me how to make better music, how to make more of it, and how to build a side hustle and income from making music. And this guy has something special about him. So for 18 years, this guy was a professional musician, an artist, making electronic music. And he toured the world, right? He was signed to loads of different labels. He's remixed people like U2, right? Another huge artist like that. Over the years, and he had a proper career earning some pretty serious money making music. So, as you know, that's a pretty rare thing to achieve as an artist, right? Like having the ability to actually make a living as a musician, the odds are even lower than running a business, right? 99.999% of musicians make zero money ever, right? And it's just one of those industries where the probability of you getting success is extremely low. So anyway, recently he sent out an email talking about this concept of probability, and I was reading it and I was like, man, this so applies to Amazon as well, and it probably applies to so many other fields. And he was talking about the difference between probability and possibility, right? So you might have a low probability of making it as an Amazon seller or whatever business you're aiming to go into, right? You might have a low probability of doing that. If you look at the data and the statistics, yes, it might be you might have to be very lucky to be one of the top 1% who actually makes money doing it. But if you focus on that probability and the data and the statistics, then you'll never get started because it all seems so bleak and it all seems so depressing. It's just like, well, why would I even bother? If I've got to be in the top 1%, then there's a 99 out of 100 chance I'm not going to make it. And the losers, the people who actually never make it, always focus on this probability and they're always thinking about the data and the percentages, right? People who have way too analytical minds, there's a perfect example, right? There's a lot of people in other fields who could never be entrepreneurs It's because their minds are just too analytical and they focus on the big picture and all the data rather than looking at the possibility, which is different. So what does this really mean? What do I mean by the difference between probability and possibility? Well, possibility means asking yourself the question, how can I become one of those 1% of Amazon sellers who actually make it and actually make some money? Like, what do I need to do to get into that 1%? Because it's not like someone's just thrown a dice and it's completely random and the people in the top 1% are just somehow magically lucky and they're just making all this money and everyone else was just extremely unlucky. Like, it's not random. If you look at the behaviors, the habits, the skill sets of the people in the top 1% in any field, they're very different to the behaviors, habits, and skills of the 99%. Right? So when we start focusing on possibility, we're saying, okay, so what are the 1% doing and how can I get myself into that percentile? And when you start asking that question, even just by asking the question, all of a sudden your mindset starts to shift. You start to spot opportunities to get closer to that 1% group. And the chances of you being successful all of a sudden skyrocket. All right, so in this email that my music coach was sending me, he was saying there's a few things you can do as a musician to get yourself into that 1%, right? And he was saying, well, look at what the 99% of musicians are doing, right? They never put out any music for a start, right? They'll put out like the odd song here and there over years. So just by putting out loads and loads and loads of music, like consistently, all of a sudden, now you're in the top 10% of musicians, right? So you're not competing with everybody now, you're just competing with a much smaller piece of the marketplace, right? And there's loads of other things you can do, like you can up your skill levels and get better at playing instruments and make better quality music, right? And that takes you from, say, the 10% to the 5%. You can get really good at business skills. Most musicians' business skills suck and they're non-existent and they have a really bad attitude towards business. I know this because I am a musician and that's the way I used to think. I used to think it was all like, you know, about greed and all this nonsense, right? When really, if you don't make any money as a musician, like how is anyone going to hear any of your songs? Like, how are you going to eat? That doesn't make any sense. So just by understanding business, now you've gone from the 5% to maybe the 2.5%. So instead of competing with everybody, now you're competing with a tiny, 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 tiny pocket of people in that top 2%, 2.5% of the marketplace. And like the more you learn about what the top 1% are doing, and the more you do the same stuff they're doing, the narrower and narrower and narrower your competition are, and the easier it is for you to compete until you're doing all the same stuff as that 1%. You're only competing with that 1% of people. And then you realize it's not even a competition. In fact, you collaborate and you help each other. And, you know, there's things you can do to lift other people up and they'll do the same for you because it doesn't matter because you're in such a small pool that it's not like someone out of the 99% is likely to join you anyway. Right? Because they have this mindset of, oh, why should I bother? And it's exactly the same thing with Amazon. So I want you to ask yourself this question this week. What do I need to do to get into the 1% of Amazon sellers, the top 1% of Amazon sellers? There's some statistics out there. Statista have actually launched them. And they'll probably tell you, like, if you just look at the top 1% of Amazon sellers, how much they make. I don't know if it's 6 figures or 7 figures at that kind of percentile range, but if you're in there, if you're in the top 1% of sellers, you'll be doing very well. So if you just do nothing else this week, just ask yourself, what do I need to do to be in that 1%? And then all of a sudden, as you're focusing on the possibility of what you could build with your business, the probability of you actually achieving it becomes much, much higher because you're eliminating most of the competition instantly. So type in the comments, let me know if you have any ideas on what you can do to be one of the top 1% Amazon sellers. And if you're interested and you find this topic intriguing, let me know in the comments as well, because what I'll do is I'll create a part 2 to this video and I'll break down all the things I think you need to do to get to the top 1% of Amazon sellers. And we'll break down why I think 99% of Amazon sellers fail. And it will almost be like a checklist, and you can see, well, if I'm not succeeding yet, then it'll be because I haven't done, say, steps 2, 5, and 7 out of the 10 things you need to do, for example. And if you just do those things, all of a sudden you'll join the top 1%. Like, it's really as simple as that. All right, a lot of this is just about removing the emotion from the process, removing all this fear and dread and doubt that you have, and just looking at the simple facts of what you need to do to be successful, and then just doing it. Like today, it's my birthday. Like, I've been out and about, went to like a Chinese buffet here in Stockholm for lunch, and I've been busy, but I still did this video. Well, 99% of people would have just taken the day off, and that's fine. Like, you know, I take days off, but for me, one of the things that's made me successful is that I'm super consistent with the right things that count. And so that's why I did it, right? That's why I'm competing with so less people than many other business owners who are trying to grow, right? The competition just isn't there because so many people are not willing to do the stuff that I do. So I don't worry about competition in any field ever because there isn't much, right? So click like, click subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think the things you need to do are to get you into the 1% of Amazon sellers, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have an awesome evening and we'll catch up soon.